But is there something for nothing? Does that actually exist? Or do you always have to pay for it out of the future?
You always have to pay for it out of the future is exactly right, Mike. Yeah, something for nothing only exists in the short run. You have to pay every time, and you're going to get what you deserve. And getting what you deserve can be very painful for a lot of people. It's going to be painful for this country, too. We're going to get what we deserve, and I am sick about it. As I'm sure you are. That's why you're doing what you do.
Absolutely.
You're trying to help people save themselves. What a noble calling. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to get people to save themselves, and the fact that they don't, yeah, they're going to get what they deserve, and it's going to be painful.
Hi, this is Mike Maloney, and I have a very special treat for everybody. He is a cult hero in the precious metals sector, the most irreverent guy in economics, His Majesty, the Mogambo Guru, Richard. How are you doing? It's Richard Daughty, folks.
I'm very fine, thank you, but you forgot the part about how my eyes twinkle. That's the part I like the best. So we can start over again, please.
You and I met at the Silver Summit in 2004. How have you been doing? I mean, this is 16 years ago that we're talking about.
We are talking 16 years ago. You notice my new mustache, my new plastic mustache. I'm trying to make that into a fashion statement. So anything you could do to help me out here would be fine.
You know, you had quite a cult following.
I did not know that.
Not occult, but a cult. You're not writing recently, but you came out with a compilation of your works, the Economica Mogambo, isn't it? Or is it?
Well, yes, that's what it's called. But actually, I did not do that book. That was done by a fan named Kulke, Doug Kulke. And basically, I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. He took some old writings of mine and actually resurrected them from the dustbin of history where they belonged and put it into a handy compendium.
I'm hoping you need to order a few more copies to put on Amazon because I want everybody. I'm just suggesting people go to Amazon.com and get a copy of Economica Mogambo because if you want to read stuff about monetary history, economics, inflation, hyperinflation, the Federal Reserve, and precious metals, the funniest thing that you can ever read is the stuff that Richard writes.
Well, that is very nice of you to say, Mike, but I'm afraid it's probably all pretty dated. You know, I was basically ragging on Alan Greenspan, I mean, way back in the 80s, for crying out loud. And people today don't even know who he is.
No, they don't, and it's surprising. You know, at the 2004 Silver Summit, the very first time I saw you, you were up there and you were talking about how Alan Greenspan, all he knows how to do is print money. He just pokes at that key on the keyboard, print, like a drunken chicken over and over again. And you're shaking the lectern around and practically destroying the podium.
Well, what a memory you have. I am impressed.
It was phenomenal. So what's your opinion on just what is happening right now in general with the world economy, and the Federal Reserve?
Where does one start? Where does one actually start? It just, I want to think of them as being evil people because only an evil person would come up with this. But I actually think they were good-hearted people thinking that this is going to work out. And, of course, it can't, and it didn't. And I don't know what to think, Mike. I'm just holding on with both hands. My fingertips on the edge of the cliff. It's just too perplexing. It's just bizarre. Handing out money, the federal government is sending people money. Well,
Yeah.
you don't like the word money, currency.
No,
They're
I
sending
call
you
it currency, right.
But they're
Money deserves
sending people. They sent me $1,200. You know, what did I do to deserve this? Nothing. You can't do a thing like that. If you could do a thing like that, all governments would have been doing it all through history. They don't. Everyone that's ever tried it has failed miserably, as will this.
Yeah, that's you know, you said it. That's what one of the things that destroys society. It starts with the government just handing out currency.
It starts with the
willy-nilly.
government. They're the only
Yeah.
ones with the power to force people to do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
But it seems like it doesn't take a whole lot of smarts to look back and say, if this could work, why doesn't everyone do it? And why haven't they always done it?
Yeah. Well, they did it in Weimar Germany and Zimbabwe. They're doing it in
Okay.
Venezuela.
Well, I
works for
forgot
a
about
little
the
while.
success of Weimar Germany and Zimbabwe. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Vacation spots to this day.
It always starts out good, though. When they first start a hyperinflation, everybody thinks the economy is getting better, that this is working. So
Well, you know, it doesn't take stuff my pockets full of dollar bills, and will my economic prospects improve? Of course they will. Give it to my kids. Stuff their pockets with money and watch what happens. It's going to be a wonderful time. How could it not?
right. Yeah, you know, one of the things when I was describing value, I don't know if I got it, if it was cut from my book or not, but I said, you know, if I told you that gold was going to $1 million an ounce, you'd probably rush out and buy some. But if I told you that a cup of coffee was going to cost $2 million, you would probably sell your gold now while it was worth something at back then it was like $600 or $800. Sell your gold right now while it's worth $600 rather than wait until it's worth $1 million and worth nothing, till it costs $1 million an ounce, but it's worth nothing. There's a big difference between price and value. That's one of the things that I try and teach people. I've got something called wealth cycles that's wrapped around that. But people don't know that. And then, you know, you mentioned the difference between currency and money. And I just, you know, one of the great things that you have done is heap tons of disrespect on the monetary system, the way it works, the Federal Reserve.
Thank you.
And but that's because it's not money. If it was money and it stored value, they wouldn't be able to do these things.
That's
So
right.
One of the attributes of money, all of the national currencies, they do not qualify as money when you break down, and people are using the wrong definitions. And so I've taken it upon myself to sort of enlighten the world. I'm just going to keep at this until everybody else just finally gives up and starts using the proper definitions. Currency, you know, gold and silver are money. There might be something else. Could be that we stumble across a cryptocurrency or something like that. Do you have any fond memories of writing or something that just really pissed you off during this whole period of time, other than your normal level of being pissed off?
Well, yeah, it seemed like I was always kind of pissed off about the Federal Reserve, the things they were doing with the money supply. I just could not believe it. I mean, how many books do you have to read to find out what happens when you do these things?
Yeah.
And but then I had a lot higher respect for the average intelligence of the average American back then, I think, because I watched your History of Money. I said, this is it. This is what I've been trying to do all these years, is have some people say, this is it. This is the information here. What kind of a fool was I not to be upset about what they're doing with the money supply? And of course, I was naturally disappointed that you weren't given a Nobel Prize for the History of Money series. That should have been it. Now I know, I have a feeling it is impossible to educate people about the money supply and what happens when you expand it so dramatically.
Yeah, most people would rather watch the latest music video.
Well, I would too.
Or you know, root for their football
Sure.
hero or whatever.
Yeah, give me a good episode of Gilligan's Island. I'm ready to go. I don't want to be worried about this stuff. I want people to take care of it like they got some smarts. but they don't.
We actually have a lot of viewers that don't know what Gilligan's Island is. That shows you.
Gilligan, don't pick that flower.
You've been poking fun at all of these guys. Is there anybody that's ever been? I mean, do you have respect for Paul Volcker or anybody
sure.
in government
Yeah.
or in the Federal Reserve that you think was doing things correctly?
Paul Volcker was actually a little bit before my time, but I can see that he actually did the right thing and got inflation down. But he got a lot of people aggravated at him, and raising interest rates to 20% is not a good thing to do for anybody that wants to get started. But it was necessary. A doctor giving you something that makes you feel bad so that you can feel good. The guy that I really had the most respect for was Ron Paul. I still have my Ron Paul for president placard in my garage right now, just in case he finally decides to run for president again, so I can vote for him again. I want to vote for somebody like Ron Paul, who the only guy in Congress that understands this stuff. The most astonishing thing, how could one guy, Ron Paul, know all this stuff, expound on this stuff, and have nobody listen to him, and have his run for president thwarted by the powers that be? It just makes me, I don't know, just your mind gets, this can't be right.
All of the social unrest that's happening right now, do you think that this is a direct result of the wealth transfer that's caused when a central bank creates currency from nothing?
It could very well be that, but there are so many actors with different agenda, or is that agenda? I don't know. Any agendas? No, anyway, let's go back. There are so many actors out there with so many plans, so many ideas, so many conceits, so many greedies. It just, who knows exactly what it is, but there's a lot of people with a lot of time in their hands who are angry about something. But I want things to go back to the way everybody's happy, everybody's doesn't have an agenda that they want to fight about. It just seemed like there was a golden age of the United States, and I was lucky enough to live in it. I don't remember any of these problems, and I want to get back to that. And the only way you can do that is to have a stable money supply. That's the whole point of it. Here's what I think, and all these aggravating people, if they put their money time into going after the people that swore to uphold the Constitution, but there's a part of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10,
yes,
no state shall make anything except gold and silver a tender for debts. Would gold and silver have no relation to the dollar anymore? And that is treason as far as I'm concerned. The Constitution of the United States requires that our money be silver and gold, and it's not. And the people that swore to uphold the Constitution, they are not. Therefore, they are committing treason. So let's get these people that want to burn things up and shake things up, let's have them arrest these people, put them in prison for treason. And the funny thing is, the penalty for treason is death. It's right there. That's whoa, what? This is just too much. It's just too much for me to handle. I don't want people being put to death. On the other hand, I don't want them to continue to be in power. I want them taken out of power and put in prison. I can go for that, but actually the death penalty for treason is a little bit beyond me. But putting in prison would be perfectly fine with me. Perfectly fine.
You know, my mother has fond memories of Roosevelt. And when I look at what Roosevelt did when he nationalized gold and made it illegal for Americans to own gold, that was a treasonous act right there.
There you go.
And then all of the policies to do deficit spending and try and revive the economy, that created that was a stock market crash. How did the Great Depression happen? the Great Depression happened because of all the drag on the economy by taxing productive individuals and businesses, and then doing things like, I'm glad that the WPA and the CCC built all of the things that they did and did some of the things, because
Yes.
my favorite hotel is the Timberline Lodge up on Mount Hood. And I love the national parks. I've been watching a series on the national parks. But to hire a bunch of young men because they don't have any jobs and send them up into the forest to build paths and pay for it by taxing productive individuals and businesses, and then doing something with that cash that does not feed back into the economy right away. That actually was all of these programs and stuff created and prolonged the Great Depression. The Great Depression just should not have happened. And so I see all of a lot of the stuff that it's like Congress and the president spit on the U.S. Constitution on a daily basis when it comes to all of the things they pass on a regular basis.
Right.
They're not authorized in the Constitution. Our government has just gone way beyond what it should be doing. And it skews the economy. And then all of this credit creation skews the economy to where you have the haves, the one percenters, and then you've got the have-nots, which is a very large portion of the population. And now you're seeing the social unrest as part of the economic consequences of Keynesian economics.
Well, you can. It's easily proved that Congress has gone way beyond their mandate, because in the Constitution, it anticipates that Congress would have nothing to do, and that they would never do anything, and so they put in a provision that Congress has to meet every couple of years. Okay, wait a minute. If they're going to be working full time, they're going to take over the entire northeast section of the country, they wouldn't have that provision. But yes, there is a provision in the Constitution requiring that Congress will meet at least, I don't know, every couple of years or so. So they have gone far beyond their mandate, and look where we got now. But that's the way it always is with people given a little temporary power. They always want to expand it, and everything is fine, and their friends want to get in on the game, and that's the way it goes.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining me here, and
My pleasure.
I wish you the best of health. I know you've had
Thank you.
I know you've had some problems recently. You were hospitalized with 3 forms of pneumonia at once, right?
At once, yes.
You've lost a lot of lung capacity, and so you can't go golfing anymore. You're a major golf fan.
Yes, and I can't play music anymore. I used to, because I can play all kinds of musical instruments, and coming up with harmonies was what I would like the most. But playing a 5-string banjo is the easiest thing you can do, and gives you lots of time to put a harmony on bluegrass tunes. Bluegrass is, to me, it's the ultimate kind of music. It's basic, it's simple, it's completely repetitive. You know exactly where it's going to go all the time. It's a 1-4-5 setup with a cloud of dust. Get out of my way. Here I come. So yeah, I can't do that. I can't play music. I can't take off, but I can talk to my friends. I thought you were my friend, but you introduced me to some kind of a wild man without even mentioning my twinkling blue eyes. I don't know.
I want to thank you very much for joining me, and for the audience, we'll see you next time. So say goodbye, Richard.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Bye.